It was, a house can have a soul, S-O-U-L. And I know it can because I live in one. And it was designed for me personally by Frank Lloyd Wright.
The Lewis family is a well-known family in Tallahassee. George Lewis was a banker. He and his wife were advocates for civil rights, and Clifton Lewis is famously the owner of a house Frank Lloyd Wright built just for her and her busy family.
George and I, with the 4 children, you see the 4 children and wonderful George. He's 6 years older than I was. And the children are all wonderful and talented, we're most. I'm so fortunate to have such be surrounded by such wonderful people. But anyway, we had our 4 children were born while we lived in a small house in Los Robles, which if you know Tallahassee.
Before long, the Lewises decided it was time to find a place a little bigger. And when they met Frank Lloyd Wright during a trip to Florida Southern College, where Wright had designed a number of the buildings, it seemed opportunity was knocking.
And George said, Clifton, if you wait till the end of the line, we can meet Mr. Wright and Ms. Wright, and you can ask Mr. Wright if he'd do a house for us. So I just cried. It was so wonderful. So we waited to the end, and I was first. I said, Mr. Wright, we're the Lewises from Tallahassee, and we have lots of children and not much money, and we want you to do us a house.
Wright agreed, and the Lewises found a piece of land near a little brook that's become the spring house's namesake. Since then, the springs run dry, and the house has fallen into disrepair. But now, Clifton's working to change that, which is where the Spring House Institute comes into play.
And the spring has had some silt filling in it due to some development upstream. So that's part of the restoration project, is not only with the house, restoring the house, but also restoring the land as best we can.
Kevin Schweizer is working with the Institute, which is made up of Clifton's family members and people in the community who want to preserve the important architecture. Schweizer's father originally worked with Wright to build the Spring House. He says his efforts now with the Spring House Institute to restore the house and complete any of Wright's unfinished plans are helping him to honor his father's work. And Schweizer isn't the only member of another generation who's working on the house.
Yes, I'm George Lewis III. I'm a grandson of Clifton and George Lewis II, son of George Edward Lewis II.
One of the goals of the Spring House Institute is to use the Spring House as a place for education and the arts, and young George says that's fitting.
Without fail, when I would come out here, my grandmother and grandfather would provide a very interesting atmosphere, very artistic, very creative, but very structured in a way to let children be very creative and have fun. Art supplies were always on hand, and good food, and interesting people.
And Clifton herself says she's noticed over the years that there seems to be a connection between the Spring House and what she calls fantastically interesting people.
But anyway, it's a beautiful way to live, and I agree with the soul part. The house does, and it affected the man Nathan who asked questions about. He was trying to find out what happened to all of us living there. Of course, he wouldn't know what had happened to us if we hadn't. But I know the world wouldn't have come, people from different parts of the world wouldn't have come to see us.
For Dimensions, I'm Regan McCarthy.